Billy Napier, genius, should coach at Florida forever, shunning the haters. They take down Texas in somewhat of a shootout compared to what most people thought. What I thought this game was going to resemble the Florida LSU game more, and it didn't. But the Florida Gators moved to 2-3, 1-1 in the SEC with a 29-21 win over the Texas Longhorns. Welcome into Crain and Company. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback. Blaine Crain, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. And before I even say anything, because typically I'm just rolling off with the first take, I want to throw it over to David Cohn. David, DJ Lagway, 21-28, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Arch Manning, 16-29, 263, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. But one was under a lot more duress than the other, and I think it showed, my friend.
This is the Florida team I thought we would get for most of this year. Yeah. Not that they would be undefeated, not that they would even make the college football playoff, and we talked about how difficult the schedule is. That's the team I thought that we would see play most of the year. They have NFL players on the offensive line. They have NFL players on the defensive line. DJ Lagway clearly has all the physical tools to be one of the most elite quarterbacks in this country. And Dallas Wilson. I mean, Vernell Brown, this wide receiver group is truly incredible. This performance doesn't shock me. This shouldn't be the anomaly. It's the other performances where they underperform so much. And then that defense, man, I mean, that's the unit that really, I think, that still drives them. And, Arch Manning, I don't know what you guys want to say about Arch. All the physical tools are there, right? Yeah. He can make every throw in the book. I think that this is only disappointing if you thought he was going to be the next Tim Tebow this year or something, which some did in the country.
Yeah, and again, we tried to tell you that's why you need to watch shows that people understand how football actually works. But Blaine, the Florida defense has been here. Not surprised that the Florida defense once again showed up. They bring the lunch pail every single time. But finally, the run game, the play calling, the being able to be unpredictable and predictable downs while also being able to line up when you have to have it and get it on the ground. Jaden Baugh, NFL back, 27 carries, 107 yards. You brought up Dallas Wilson, Cone, 6 catches, $111, 2 touchdowns, and just an angry ass run after the catch to score the last touchdown that he had. Billy, this is why Florida fans get so pissed off about Billy Napier.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see this. We saw this in the back half of last year, and we're like, oh, my God, Florida's a problem, but it's the consistency of it. And, we can talk about Texas and the lack of toughness on the offensive side, running the ball. Arch Manning doubles up Quintravian Wisner and carries 15 for 37. But he was getting absolutely harassed all night. I mean, you look at the sack total that Florida had. There was no way he could be comfortable. And it showed when he did have guys open, because Texas, they missed more opportunities than, a good-looking guy at a sorority house. It is what it is, but Florida showed up, and this is a massive win. What does this mean for Billy? You're a Billy hater, and you've been consistent.
I'm not a Billy hater.
Well,
how am I a Billy hater?
Okay. You kind of turned the corner before this season. But
how am I a Billy hater because he's even from a record in year 4?
You're not. I'm not. Okay.
You fired Jim McElwain, who was 23-12.
Took a naked picture with a shark.
Sorry,
Blaine, is this
your job?
If you're a Florida fan, though, dude, what do I feel? What do you feel?
It makes it worse. It makes it worse because this is not surprising. I picked Florida as my dark horse team this year before the season started. You have all the players. You have all the talent. Your front seven's one of the best in the country. Yeah. Sap off the edge is one of the best in the country. You have DJ Lagway returning with everything around him, and you find ways to lose football games. And it's undisciplined reasons. And at the end of the day, that falls on the head coach. But this win is I don't think I've ever seen Texas get manhandled like this.
Yeah.
Maybe if you go back and watch the Georgia games last year, I could rerun some tape and see some similar things. But not only DJ Lagway could have wrote a book in the pocket today.
He really could have.
Wrote a book. And you have Colin Simmons, right? He's supposed to be a top 5 pick. Anthony Hill Jr. is supposed to be a top 5 pick. They got bullied up front. And look, Arch Manning, I get it. He's not going to save the world, and I think everybody understands that now. Hell, I didn't think he played bad.
Yeah.
I didn't want to think. I don't think he was bad.
Look, and you can't. If protection breaks down, everything breaks down. The reason Florida's offense looks so great is because they could turn around and get 5 yards of carry on the other side. I mean, like Arch Manning probably like that to help him off the field. He looked like Rocky at the end of the movie. It's just Steve Sarkisian. What is going on at Texas? You have way too much money to be this bad.
Well, it's and a lot of people again will talk about the defense of Florida. You shut Texas out first quarter. You hold them to 7 points in each of the second, the third, and the fourth. But I want to make sure that we give credit, and Blaine, you brought it up, to Florida's offensive line.
Yeah.
It was dominant. And not just in the four. Everybody thinks it's just run game. Oh, well, if you ran the ball well, then the offensive line was dominant. That's half of an offensive lineman's job. The other 50% is pass pro. And DJ Lagway, when he has time, you can just watch him paint. And it just makes sense. It's like watching Bob Ross, afro and all. Oh, look at these mountains. Oh, look at this green grass. And David, I'm sure you saw this too as a former quarterback. I watched DJ Lagway have so much time in the pocket that when he did get pressure, he literally dropped down to his hip and flicked a ball about 12 yards to a crosser. And you can just see the arm talent oozing out of this guy. And you can understand why the hype for him is so big. If he has time, he will gut you. He will kill you. And he did tonight and a run game.
Why did he have so much time, though? Because they were in phase on offense throughout the entirety of that game. They were running the football effectively. What'd they end with? 159 rushing yards. 2, when they didn't give him time because he's getting pressured, he replaced blitzers with the ball effectively. In the quick game, he was reading his hot routes accurately, or correctly, I mean. And then that left it with, when he does have time in the pocket, he was pushing the football downfield, whereas wide receivers were making plays. So at some point, it was like, well, anything you're doing from a Texas defensive perspective, he's dicing you up. But still, the unit that surprised me most in this game was Texas on defense. And back to the Arch Manning point a little bit, Blaine, I'm glad you touched on it a little bit, because from a physical standpoint, the kid can make every throw in the book. I mean, he's throwing comebacks to the field, whole shots to the boundaries. It's if Texas defense played the way that, say, LSU's defense did against Florida, they win this game 21-10, and all of a sudden we're talking about Arch putting up 300 total yards. And can they build off of that and overcome some of his mistakes? Instead, they give up 29 points to a Florida offense that really has just struggled and been, absent for most of the season.
Well, it's the first time Florida's offense looked on schedule and on time.
And it was about time, right?
Yeah.
Like, think about
100%.
Past time.
Like, this is when I somewhat like the over in this game. I think it was sitting at 42.5. Sooner or later, these guys are going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. There's too much talent on the side of the ball. But I will say this: it kind of sucks to play quarterback, right, when you can't run the ball and your offensive line can't block.
Yeah.
Right. And unless you're just, and
well,
I thought
it's impossible. You can't do it.
He had a couple of times where he held it too long, but I thought he moved well in the punt, got out, escaped. It's just Florida's. Texas is just not that good.
Well, I will say it. And again, David played the position, so he can speak to it, is that when you're having to live, and I don't know a better way to describe it, that every time you get the ball snapped to you, you're just living in an oh shit moment because so much is happening. I mean, even the balls down the field, because Texas had some guys wide open in this game that Arch Manning missed. But, all of these pressures accumulate. The clock in Arch's head had to be sped up. It's almost like, listen to your favorite podcast at like 2.5 times the speed of what it normally is to be able to get through it and speed it up. That kind of seemed like that's how Arch was having to play because you didn't have a run game. I know Wisner ended up, scoring a touchdown there, but he had 11 yards on 8 carries. Again, Arch was your leading rusher with 37 yards on 15 carries, which isn't a lot more than 2 a pop. And then you bring in the sacks. You can't live that way. I don't care if you're a new quarterback, David, or if you're an old quarterback. If your clock is sped up that fast, it's going to look herky-jerky like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking here about Clemson, Penn State, and Texas have way too many great players on their teams to have a combined, one win combined over Power 4 opponents. I mean, this is what I kept asking people in the offseason. So if Quinn Ewers had come back instead of being a 7th-round pick, would he be the starting quarterback this year? And all the Texas fans said no, it's Arch Manning's time. I think that, Quinn Ewers led this program to back-to-back college football playoffs. You can say whatever you will about the injuries and such, but he would be the starting quarterback, but they got bigger problems than just the quarterback position. I'm writing down in my notes here, Florida blocked punt, right? I mean, you had they had a chance to down the ball inside the 5, bounces over their head on punt return. Like, they're just not playing disciplined football in all phases, including special teams.
Well, to that point, David, if Arch Manning was just not ready, that would probably be easier than what you're having to deal with right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually take that. If it was one guy and everybody else is handling business, you can fix that or at least kind of patch that hole a little bit. You bring up the block punt, right? You bring up the offensive line struggling the way that they're struggling. Go back to the Ohio State game. Texas, you talk about Power 4 wins. They've only been able to handle people that are inferior to them. The San Jose States, the UTEPs, whoever the hell it was. And even in some points, they struggled with those guys. I don't know if Texas is a very good football team outside of the defense we know is talented. And you've got Red River next week. We'll see what happens with Mateer. But even if Mateer can't play, you think I trust Texas's offensive line? If you can't handle Florida, if you can't handle Ohio State, who I got a ton of respect for, all of a sudden it's just going to be a walk in the park against Oklahoma. And I'll tell you a game that is very, very interesting coming up on Texas's schedule. Everybody will talk about OU and Red River, and I get it. They'll talk about you playing Vandy at home, you going to Georgia, then you getting A&M at home.
Let me guess.
I tell you what, buddy, that game at Mississippi State here in 3 weeks ain't going to be a walk amongst the tulips.
Yep.
It's not a walk in the park.
Yeah, we'll find out more about them tonight, but that team's a play away from being 5-0.
Yeah.
Well, I just, again, this Texas team just does not look like I don't want to say a good football team because I know they have good players, but they just look so far behind the 8 ball offensively. And I mean, we're going into week 7, right? You're 0-1 in the SEC. You're 3-2 overall. You've got to be perfect the rest of the way. I think you have to be perfect the rest of the way. And even I had a 9-3 Texas team making the college football playoff, but I'm looking around now like, well, we may have a lot more 9-3 teams that matter at the end of the day than what I thought we'd have originally. So
don't worry though. The committee will make the right decision.
Well,
don't worry about it.
You can wish in one hand and do something else in the other and see which one fills up faster at that point if we're going to do that. But I tell you, I'm glad it ended up being a good game because I'm going to be honest with you, Coney, after the first 10 minutes of this one, I was like, oh my God. I mean, Florida just jumped on them 10-0. Texas fought back, but they look like an average football team overall to me. And I know they have a ton of money for this roster, but look at what all they lost. At some point, that catches up to you.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm looking on the bright side for both fan bases, for Florida, first off, I know how frustrating it is, like Blaine was talking about, that, man, this was what we were capable of, and yet we have a losing record right now. I understand that, but still, you just beat Texas, one of the premier brands in this sport, at home. Your offense finally looked like they were capable of looking. Take that win, be proud of it. On the Texas side, I know that's frustrating. You hadn't beaten a Power 4 opponent yet, but you still have really good players. You still have really good coaches. Steve Sarkisian, the only coach in the country that's made the college football playoff in back-to-back seasons. Yeah. And honestly, Arch Manning looked like he can do some really good things. They need to reset that offense to be able to get to where he can do the things he's best at doing. And I still think they're going to win a lot of football games. The one at Georgia is really key to me. Yeah. And do you face Oklahoma and Red River without John Mateer? Those are the two biggest things for me right now.
Yeah, and in the comments, let us know what you think. Can this Texas team rebound just quickly the remainder of Florida's schedule, right? You're sitting here at what, 2-3 overall, 1-1 in the SEC. You're at A&M. You get Mississippi State at home, Georgia at home, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, Tennessee at home, FSU at home. You can enjoy this one. Enjoy it, and you should. But damn it, you better be ready to strap it up by the time that Monday rolls around, because you got to get ready to go into Kyle Field and play Texas A&M. Again, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out our Alabama Vanderbilt instant reaction. Got a full recap tomorrow. We got previews. Make sure you're locked into Crain & Company. We appreciate you being here.